Hi, everyone. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes. We just want to let people in, get settled, uh, and start chatting. While you're waiting, hey Ray, drop where you're tuning in from in the chat, and we're excited to learn where everybody's coming from and see some friendly faces and some new faces.
We need like a theme song, intro theme
Hey
every time we
Mark,
start
how's it
these.
going?
Thinking something like 70s spy TV show, hip, exciting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Ooh, someone from Australia. I think that's the furthest so far. At least from States folks.
Oh, I'm on mute, but hi Mirage, hey Tim. All right, how you feeling, Zach? You want to jump in?
Awesome. Yeah, let's get into it. Welcome everyone to our second, I guess, official Webflow Developers Office Hours. Exciting. Woo! Um, We are really excited to do this. This is a monthly event, or we're aiming to make this a monthly event. And yeah, we'll continue throwing out notifications about when these happen. But we're really excited to have this audience here, and especially also the folks who are going to be watching this after. Um, to introduce you to the lovely faces that you're seeing here today, you're meeting the developer relations team at Webflow here. So what is the developer relations team if you're not familiar? Basically, our job is to help you developers build on Webflow, enable you, provide education, make it easier to do so. And yeah, we're always here and happy to help. Would love to introduce some folks here. So you'll probably see some familiar faces. We've got Virat, Vic, myself, and we've got a new addition to the team, Ray, who's joining us as a developer evangelist. Ray, do you want to give yourself a quick intro?
No. Okay. Uh, Hi, everybody. This is day 8 for me. I spent the last 2 weeks digging into Webflow, testing everything I can possibly test, and writing a lot of fun code and learning. So I'm still brand new here, still a lot more to learn, but I can't wait to work with y'all and learn and share more.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, we're excited that the team is growing. So hopefully you'll see more folks on our side and yeah, helping enable. So, all right, we'll kick things off. Here's our agenda for today. Basically, we'll give an overview of what the developer platform is at Webflow. We will go over some important API updates that you might want to be familiar with. We'll talk about some really good MCP improvements coming to the MCP server. Really excited to show a little demo there. We'll talk about the newly released AppGen feature with Webflow that's been causing a ton of really awesome buzz around the community. So excited to see what people kind of make with that. And then we'll go over we'll have some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions at any point during this presentation, feel free to drop it in the chat. Our team is monitoring, so at any point, feel free to just drop something in. Awesome. And now I guess before we do that, I wanted to give a quick recap of what we talked about last time in our office hours. So last office hours in October, we talked about internal API deprecation. These are APIs that Webflow uses to kind of sync DOM and site data within our internal systems and what you see in the designer. These are not related to any of our public data or designer APIs. But some folks we notice have built kind of some tooling, Chrome extensions around using some of these internal APIs to improve workflows. These unfortunately have to be deprecated to help support our new real-time feature. So if you do know that you are using some of these like /DOM APIs to kind of manage some specific workflows outside of our public APIs, I would just give our developer docs changelog a quick look so that you understand kind of the next steps of how to mitigate this sunsetting. We also talked about code components, and we even showed some really awesome demos from our own Virat. And we also had Julian from MemberStack come on as our first guest and kind of showcase some of the code components there. Also kind of using the MCP server, so that was really fun to see in live. One really fun one in particular was seeing Virat showcase a CMS slider that had code components interacting with some live CMS data. And I know that's been a really popular component that folks have been striving for in the community. So we'll have more content on that soon. But yeah, if you haven't had a chance, you can actually go to our YouTube, official Webflow YouTube profile, and there'll be a playlist for all of our developer office hours, so you can catch the last replay if you need. Other things that we GA'd, really exciting, we had Webflow Cloud Storage. So there are a lot more storage options now, key value storage, object storage. Definitely check out our documentation to see all of the new additions that you can include in your Webflow Cloud apps to kind of make it even more useful there. And then the last thing we also talked about that just GA'd within the past month is app badges. So you'll notice if you go into the Webflow app marketplace, which is webflow.com/apps, some apps will have badges associated with it so that you'll see some are free plan available, or you'll see some with the install accounts attached to them, or some that are even trending. So really exciting stuff. We're excited to continue investing in the marketplace experience. But yeah, these are things that you'll notice today. And if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. So moving on from that, I'll pass it on to Vic to talk about our developer platform.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. So we're just doing a really quick recap for some new people who are here to understand all of the developer tools that Webflow makes available for you to manage your sites and manage your data as well as your designs. So the first things that we started with were external code and APIs. So if we'll kind of switch through, it's a little bit of a walkthrough. So those were the first parts of the platform and probably the most foundational parts. And then we moved through to the APIs, which now we have data APIs, we have designer APIs, and also not many people know, but we also have browser APIs that work with the optimize custom attributes and for consent tracking. So if that's something you want to explore, jump into our docs and look those and give those a try. But we have different APIs to manage different parts of your workflow. So syncing data, managing data, making updates externally is what our data APIs are for. And then the designer APIs run in Webflow in the designer to manipulate designs. And a really cool part of that is that we have our MCP server that uses those APIs to then change Webflow. So I don't think I timed this animation right, but you can kind of see how all of the pieces fit together in order to bring you a full platform that allows you to programmatically manage your website as well as use code to provide even more advanced functionality. And that's where a Webflow Cloud comes in and code components come in, where now you can bring React components into Webflow, as well as bring apps next to your Webflow site using the same domain to have fully featured apps as well as your marketing site. So these are all the different parts of the dev platform. So you don't have to use every piece if that's not your specialty. That's not what we're saying. Use every single bit, but it is really great to explore and understand what you can do with each. And we would love to hear any questions you might have. If you're like, what is this for? When is the best time to use code components versus using custom code on my site? How can I do something with the data APIs versus the designer APIs? We're here to explain all these different parts to help you come to success in whatever you're trying to accomplish with Webflow. So please drop questions in the chat about, what does this do? What is this for? And then I forgot to mention the Webflow CLI is some of the foundation that powers a lot of these functionalities. So you'll deploy your apps via Webflow Cloud, you'll share your code components, or you'll deploy your apps via the CLI and share your code components. And that'll be kind of like your layer when you're working on your local machine to interact with all of these pieces of the dev platform. So just a quick recap, and then we'll jump into some of the updates about the dev platform.
Awesome.
All
All
right.
right, thanks, Vic. So we're going to talk about some data API changes that you should be aware of that are coming up here. So our Forms APIs are getting a little more love. What we are doing are we are making some changes to our form data APIs. If you use this, you'll definitely want to kind of keep note. Essentially, what we're doing is we are kind of changing around the request path of the APIs that you should be calling to get all of your website, Webflow website forms, or even form submissions. And so truly the only change here that you need to add is if you look at this green text here, this is usually the kind of API path that you would make to get all your form submissions. And now what we're asking is adding the site ID to the request path. This will help for a lot of internal kind of data organization and being able to surface data faster. We've noticed with some sites that use some of our APIs that have tons and tons of form submissions or forms, it might take a while. And so being able to kind of add this identifier, the site ID as part of this will really help a lot of our internal workings to surface the data that you need. So beyond that, there are no other changes expected. As far as kind of changing, as far as how the APIs actually work under the hood, really is just adding that that other identifier in the request path. And then you should see responses speed up as you start using some of these new APIs. These are available in both our V2 and beta and I guess, data API sets. So you should be able to start using them today. We are looking to kind of start migrating or start shifting traffic towards the new endpoints, and you should see some deprecation headers as you're calling the old endpoints today. So I would just kind of start looking at the documentation to ensure that you're calling the request correctly. Nothing has to change about the request payload. But yeah, just kind of wanted to throw that out there. If you have any questions, of course, we're able to help. So throw anything in the chat there.
And I want to say that this is a preview and like a first look. We're going to share more about a timeline of what these changes mean and when we'll need developers to make changes. Right now, we're just giving a heads up, but we have a tentative sunset date, but based on feedback that we get from y'all in terms of who's using this and making sure that we communicate this properly, we'll adjust this to make sure that developers have the best timeline possible in order to make any changes that they need. So this is a heads up. It is not a go change your code right now.
Yep, exactly. The existing endpoints will still continue to work for a very, very long time. So no worries about any sudden changes there. Thanks, Vic.
But I think we would definitely like to know what from feedback of like if you see changes, if you see any significant performance improvements or anything like that. We don't expect it to be life changing, but if it's something that has really helped you or unblocked a workflow, please let us know. That would make us really happy to hear. Or other way around, we need to go fix something. So let us know.
Yes. Awesome. The next thing we're going to talk about are our CMS content delivery APIs. These are generally available now. So kind of want to talk about CMS APIs in two parts here. We've got content management. This is how most people are using our CMS APIs today through the api.webflow.com request path. Traditionally, folks might be using the CMS APIs to bidirectionally sync content from another source to Webflow or Webflow to another source. Being able to manage the publish status and timing of CMS items. And so this is a crucial workflow, especially with a lot of data client apps or custom integrations. And that makes sense to use these certain APIs. But at a certain point, you probably want to serve up this CMS content at scale on multiple channels. And by multiple channels, we might mean maybe you have a mobile app that you're wanting to serve the CMS content for. Maybe you have actual live displays in stores or actual physical fronts that you want to just continually call some of these APIs with. And so this is where on the right side, we've got this content delivery bit that we've actually had released for a while. It was enterprise focused for a bit, but now is generally available. Yep, which we point out here. And essentially what this is switching over the request path to cdn/api.webflow.com if you're doing read-only, heavy read-only API requests. Again, if you're using the CMS content for multiple channels, multiple apps, things like that, this will be a great way to essentially serve your CMS content distributed globally. And there's a certain caching policy that basically allows you to have not unlimited rate limits, but very much higher than you probably would have today with your access tokens. So just to kind of give a small summary of like what these APIs provide. Again, they're read only. You can use these APIs to serve content from your CMS site. And I will kind of preface this is for the live CMS item content to multiple channels. It's globally distributed and has a very has a caching policy that you can visit in our documentations to kind of see, when something is going to be retrieving cached content versus when it might be retrieving fresh content from the CMS if there's no cache hit. And yeah, it's generally available, so you can use this on any site plan, any workspace plan, anything like that. So yeah, really excited to kind of publish this for some of our users who are surfacing CMS content in multiple various ways. All right, now we're going to talk about MCP servers, so I'm going to pass it over to Virat.
Perfect. Thank you, Zach. Uh, awesome. So, those who are new, we have released the MCP server in the past couple of months, and the last month we also released the designer API support. So that means like the MCP tool calls can now make an designer API call, and it can make changes to your design canvas. So that means like you can use your favorite AI apps or ID like Cursor, Cloud Desktop, or Cloud Code, and automate workflows like SEO optimization, CMS management, or like you can also automate design workflows related to design system or variables, right? Uh, but this month we have released like, yep. So we have new GitHub. So our MCP is now registered on the GitHub MCP registry. So you can like look up and directly install our MCP server into your VS Code or other IDs. We have tooling updates which are right now in private beta. So we have new tools related to comments, so you can now list the thread comments, um, get all the replies to it. And we also have enterprise tools. That means like you can now manage 301 redirects right from your favorite AI app. And um, we also have new endpoint which is /MCP. Sorry. Yeah, we have new endpoint which is /MCP, and we are soon going to deprecate /SSE, which is the current endpoint, but it's a far away. We are going to keep it both live for a long time, very generous time, but we are switching to a official /MCP endpoint, which means like mcp.webflow.com/MCP, and which is much faster protocol than the SSE. So anyone who wants to try these new tools and the enterprise tool, please reach out to us so we can add you to our MCP testing group. And we have also a prompt library. So for that, I will pass to the week.
Sure. I saw a question about what tools you'll have access to as Virat mentioned, we'll do 301 redirects, and when component props land in the API, then we'll update them in the MCP. Currently, that timeline is pushed out a little bit, and we can provide more information, but I think I would say we're still working on that. Sorry, we're trying to get the layout correct. But once those APIs land in the designer API, they will also land in the MCP server. And we know that those are a really big ask, and we're pushing for them. And Christian, you're on my list to let people to one of the first people to let know when that happens, as well as making sure that as these changes happen. So again, going to changing to /MCP, and then some of these tooling updates in private beta. Let us know. Send us a question, or send us a message to developers@webflow.com, and we will put you on the list to be in the private beta. I'm going to jump into sharing my screen for the prompt library, where we have questions for y'all about what you would like to see. So let me share my screen, and I will share. Are y'all able to see this? Perfect. So we are trying to share the best prompts that we see for the MCP server. We know that there are some things that work well and some workflows that do not work well at this time that we're trying to improve, but we want to put people on the right path for these. So we're looking to see what workflows that you would want to see and you would want to try using prompting best practices. We know the tool is the best, so we're trying to provide those prompts, but at the same time, let us know if there's anything here that you see or that's missing that you would want to prompt or share and say this would be a good prompt to have for the MCP server. This will land on our docs within the next week, but here you can jump in to any of these prompts. Crossing my fingers if this live demo works. Amazing. And you'll be able to choose a prompt, see what integrations it might need, or it might not need anyone. This one doesn't need an integration, to say optimize your keywords, and you'll get a prompt that you can copy and paste and see how it actually works. So you can see which tools it uses. So when you go into Cursor, you go into your client, you can see all of the tools that load, but then you can also see what tools we recommend to do this flow, and what we think will work. And then you can even press this button here to just try in Cursor. I think I am only sharing my my browser, so it's not going to show. Let me try sharing my entire screen. All right, let's see. Oh, that's not going to work. It looks like I didn't update my system settings before. So we'll try one more time, but I think that my browser is yelling at me, telling me I need to quit, which I'm definitely not going to do. So we'll try this and see. But the goal is for you to be able to open right into your client of choice. Right now, the best one is Cursor, that allows you to open it, but otherwise you can just copy and paste this and paste into Cloud Desktop if you have your MCP server set up there, or whatever client you're using. And that way you can take a look at these prompts, see how we've structured them, and let us know if they work well. So we'll send this out within probably before Thanksgiving. But we want to know, do these prompts work? What other prompts would you like to see? These are mostly things that happen through the data API. One that I'm really excited about is a variables refactor one. So this one, you will be able to, if you have current styles that don't use variables, they're using hard-coded values, you'll be able to update those so that they use variables, create variables if you don't have them already, and get started with the design system. So we'll try that out, but we'll send the link once this lands to everybody who's joined this presentation. You guys are the first people who I want to see try this out. So please let us know. And from there, I'll pass it back to Zach.
Awesome. Thanks, Vic. Cool. So we will now talk about Webflow AppGen. Really curious to see if anyone's tried it out in the chat yet. Um, and so basically with AppGen, if you haven't heard or you haven't seen the announcements, what it allows you to do is build full stack web applications natively in Webflow. So you'll notice a new tab in the designer and canvas for AppGen where you can have a kind of prompting experience to start building full stack web apps with the help of Astro. And so definitely give it a try. We're also on Product Hunt in case you want to kind of see our little promo there. And this is available for everyone. And so there are some considerations to kind of keep in mind here. We threw together this table just to kind of show kind of where our heads are at, where the state is at right now. Apps can't be embedded in other Webflow pages, but we're thinking about it. Uh, we are trying to integrate closely with the design system. Some parts like variable mapping varies from site to site, so we'll continue to kind of refine this bit. Inclusion of native databases and user authentication support for deeper experiences, things like user accounts and all that good stuff. Visual editing, CMS integration is read-only at the moment. So just know, essentially, we're working on it. We're really excited to kind of get this in the hands of users and kind of see what folks are building. But we're continually building on this experience. Let me just let Farad in. Looks like he might have gotten kicked. Awesome. And once we kind of share this recording out, we have some links for some resources around the launch itself, our updates page, so you can kind of learn more about how this product came to be, and just more about the feature in general. And so for this specific product, you'll probably find more information in like our help centers rather than the developer docs. So I would just kind of peruse that for looking for specific updates there. All right, so we are now at our Q&A section, which is, I'm excited. Yeah, we've got about like 30 minutes, so we've got time for questions. I think maybe I'll just stop sharing for now and we can get into this.
Yeah, I think there's a good first question from Rachel. Virat, Rachel's asking, in your experience, what are the MCP server's current strengths and weaknesses? She's already tried to see if she could take a Figma design and make it a homepage from it, which it was struggling with. But it's a huge task, so she's not surprised. And a lot of people are making CMS updates. What would you say are some go-to, I guess, prompts or workflows that you like for the MCP, and what do you hope in the future that would be, that it might have a little bit trouble with now?
Yeah, I feel like any data APIs or data tools task are very good at, but if you are like trying to optimize your blog, which is having a lot of data in items, it probably will fail. So I would advise, like, if your workflow is concentrating on a single or a smaller chunk of data, it's going to perform best. Um, However, like if you are trying to like convert the whole Figma design to a Webflow, the AI model that we are using right now, let's say a cursor or Claude, those are designed for code. Those are not designed and trained based on the Webflow tools and configuration. So it's still going to like have those UI on the canvas, but it's not going to be like 90% close or more than that. So uh, however, like we are still working on the prompts library and the rules that you can use to get better output, but try to like divide your workflows into like small chunks and like have a separate chat and then do it. But I think do SEO optimization, get use MCP as a context tooling, uh, that you can also do migrations of the variables from one thing. You can also use for the design, system management and those stuffs.
Awesome. And I'll jump in because I know Rachel, I think we saw each other on LinkedIn, and I think you might be in our testing Slack. But one thing that I did want to share is that our MCP server is open source, or it's available to look at on GitHub. And something that might be interesting to you, I'll go ahead and share my screen, is what you can see. You can see how the tools work and how they map back to our APIs. So I'll just open this. Let me know if y'all can see this. So if you jump in here and you jump into source, you can actually go and look at the different tools that are available. And you can see anything with a DE, it means it's a designer tool. And then anything with us without that is our data tools. And you can jump in here and look and see, exactly which endpoint it's calling and what the tool needs in order to make that work. And so I think being able to, and it's on us to document this, and that's something I'm working on, so that you don't have to actually jump into code to kind of figure out the documentation here, but it is available if you want to say, like, how can I dial in my prompts in the best way? And I can see that being useful for especially some of the designer ones where you're looking and seeing how does a page get created? What does it need in order to create it? So here, to create a page, we need the page name, the meta title, the meta description, so on and so forth. I think that this would help you better craft your prompts in order for you to get a better output. But we also do know that there's some improvements on our side that need to be made. But I think, as a first step, this might be able to help you in your prompt writing and getting a better experience. So let me know if that helps. I'll just jump in and share the link as well to that if anybody wants to jump in and kind of do their own splunking. Amazing. Okay. I was gonna, some code I copied, not the actual link. Let me get that for you. Okay. Oh, did that go through? Okay, perfect. All right. Let's look at some other questions. Tim has questions about the component props. So I mentioned that component props are coming soon. I would say the time frame is probably, there's no hard and fast time frame right now. There has been some work done on them, but I would say early next year is when we're looking at that. But we will keep you updated because we know that is a most wanted feature. If you could have that for the holidays, we would want to give it to you. But we'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. We know it's something that would really unlock a lot of different workflows across apps, across MCP, and being able for you to better share your components. So we're excited for that, and we'll shout it from the rooftops. Another question was, can I use different models in AppGen, which is a super cool question. I think we'll have to take that back to the team. That's not something we know right now, but it's a super good question. And I think any model that you would have the option to choose would be really great. So you said Gemini 3 seems interesting. Seeing if we could use that. Yeah, we'll definitely ask that question. All right, I think there is a poll if there are no more questions, or do we answer all questions?
I think so.
Cool. Well, we're excited to share the dev platform with y'all, and we'd love to understand, based on what you've seen today, based on what you've heard from some of the Webflow announcements, and even our last office hours, we'd love to know what you're interested in working on the most this month, or what you have questions about the most. Let us know, and we will do anything we can to help you get success in our dev platform. Awesome, Bharat. There's a lot of love for the MCP and the APIs. Awesome.
I think while that's going, Vic, you want to talk about how people can reach us?
Absolutely. So you could always find us here every month on our stream. We'll kind of make this a little bit bigger, and we'll also have more live demos moving forward. But you can also stay connected with our developer newsletter. Go ahead and sign up, either signing up for on our developers.webflow.com site. We're also in the unofficial Discord, but we're there, so you can follow us on the Webflow community Discord. You can hit us up in the forums. We're also really active on Reddit, so if you have questions, please let us know. And for Developer Workspace, that's also a way to stay connected with us, because we will help you get onto the Developer Workspace. But it is a workspace that is free forever and is built for developers to test features. So we have some APIs that are enterprise only. We have some features that, like localization, that you might want to use, or some site APIs that you might want to use that might not be available with a free plan. As a developer, we're not here to try to gate you with get you there. We want to make sure you can just test out everything you need and test out your use case to make sure that it might be something that you're willing to build for, you know, an app or for a client, just to get a feel for Webflow. So you can head over to developers.webflow.com to apply for that workspace and learn more in our docs. We'll drop a link in there. But yeah, we're looking forward to hanging out with you here, hanging out with you on our socials, and catching up with you. We'll send this recording out as well. So if you need to share this with any of your team, you'll be able to. So there's another question about, I'm not sure, but are native elements in Webflow like navbar being updated to use GSAP instead of jQuery? That's a good question. We are a team that you can ask that question to, and we'll try to get answers for you. But that's not something I know off the top of my head. Very curious in terms of like how that would unblock you or what benefits that would be able to help you as you build your Webflow sites. Is it more just having everything be GSAP since you're already using GSAP, or how would that help you in your build? All right, while we're waiting for an answer, Rachel, we have a Slack that I believe we can invite you to, so we'll try there. I would say also Discord, people chat a lot, and I would say our forums as well. So those are the three places as well, but stay in touch here, and we will make sure that you get updates on our MCP server so that you can share prompts, share tips and tricks. We'll make sure that you stay connected with us and with the larger community. Yeah, I would think that it would be one animation library would be having a faster site, but I just wanted to double check with you. Awesome. Amazing. I think we covered everything. We went a little fast. We had a little more than or a little less than we planned for, but it's always great seeing you guys. It's always great chatting with you. Really appreciate the enthusiasm here. Anything else you guys want to say? Barat, Ray, Zach?
No, yeah. Excited to see more of what y'all are building. The code components has personally for me been like super fun to see what folks are building.
And Barat wants you to ship, which I agree. Thank you all for your time, and we'll see you next month. Bye, y'all.
Awesome.